Before you clap hands, who feels the courage now, please, come on. More? I'm going near you guys. Okay, I want that hands up. Okay, courage? Courage? Be courage, okay. Okay, so now, yes, thank you so much for this. Thank you, thank you.
Manel is a 13-year-old Leash student who has been playing football for the past 10 years. Passionate about sports and perseverance, he shares how discipline has helped him grow, improve, and achieve his goals. In his talk, Motivation Gets You Started, Discipline Gets You There, he reflects on his journey and the power of never giving up. Manel, it's your turn to play.
Hello, I'm Manuel, and today I'm going to present you my TED Talk, which is about how motivation gets you started and discipline gets you there. Have you ever promised yourself that this time would be different? This week I start training, this month I focus on school, this year I change, and for a few days you feel unstoppable. You wake up early, you're determined, you're focused, but then something happens. You lose once, you fail once, you get distracted, you get tired, and suddenly, the motivation is gone. So, what changed? Nothing, except your feelings. Motivation feels powerful, it feels like energy, it feels like certainty. But motivation is emotional, and emotions don't last. They rise when things are exciting, and they disappear when things become difficult. If you only work when you feel motivated, you only work on easy days. But success in school, in life, and in sports, it's built on hard days, on days where you don't feel like it. That's where discipline comes in. Sports make this essence very clear. Think about Cristiano Ronaldo, by the way, my idol. He's not known just for talent, but for discipline. Do you think he trains when he feels excited? No, he trains when he's tired. He trains after losing. He trains when no one is watching. That's discipline. Or think about Michael Jordan. He was cut out of his high school varsity team. Imagine how that felt. Disappointment, embarrassment, or maybe even doubt. He could have said, maybe I'm not good enough. But instead, he practiced harder. Early mornings, late nights, repetition after repetition. Sports shows something important. Game day is visible, practice is invisible. Game day is exciting, practice is repetitive. But practice is what creates champions, not motivation, repetition. Here's the difference. Motivation says, I feel like doing this. Discipline says, I do it anyways. Motivation depends on the mood. Discipline depends on commitment. In sports, motivation shows up on game days. Discipline shows up on practice days. And think about which one is more important. In school, motivation shows up before the exam. Discipline shows up weeks before. In life, motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. And here's something powerful. Actions create motivation, not the other way around. You don't wait to feel motivated to act. You act, and motivation often follows. So, how do you actually build discipline? It's not about being extreme. It's about being what most people aren't, consistent. First, start small. You don't need 2 hours. Start with 20 minutes. You don't need perfection. You need repetition. Stick with this. Small actions done daily beat big actions done occasionally. Second, build a routine. Remove the daily decision. Instead of, do I feel like training? Make it automatic. Same place, same time, same habit. Athletes don't debate on practice every day. They just go. 3, focus on identity. Instead of, I want to get better at basketball, say, I'm someone who practices daily. Instead of, I want to get better at school, say, I'm someone who studies consistently. When you change your identity, your behaviors follow. Discipline becomes a part of who you are, not someone you force yourself to be. I also need discipline in my daily life. An example of this is in football, where sometimes I don't want to go train and just want to stay home and chill. However, I know that if I go, I'm going to improve and get better. Therefore, I never skip training and never ask myself if I'm doing the right thing. Nowadays, I'm always the first one to arrive and the last one to leave. With these choices, I have been rewarded with more self-confidence and decision-making. To conclude, there will be days when you feel tired, days when you lose, days when process feels invisible, but you show up anyway, again and again. That's where you're building something. In sports, the scoreboard tells you who won. In life, discipline keeps the scoreboard quiet. Every practice, every study session, every decision to continue, it adds up. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. Motivation depends on the mood. Discipline depends on commitment. So, stop waiting to feel ready. Start small, show up, and repeat. Because success doesn't belong to the most motivated. It belongs to the most disciplined. And that choice is yours. Thank you.
Maria Madalena Guerra, also from Lees, is 13 years old and already deeply values friendship, family, and the strength of human connection. In her talk, What Would You Do If You Lost Everything?, she reflects on the impact of Storm Christine and how moments of loss can reveal empathy, compassion, and the power of coming together.
It was January 28, 2026. I woke up to a terrifying noise. Trees bending, metal sheets flying, and branches crashing everywhere. A powerful windstorm had swept through central Portugal, destroying many areas. Fallen trees, scattered roof tiles, and broken branches covered the streets. Days later, heavy rain caused floods that blocked streets and damaged even more homes. It felt like the world I knew had been completely turned upside down. But in the middle of all that chaos, I saw something truly incredible: empathy. Hi, my name is Madalena, and today I want to tell you a story about what I learned about empathy during Storm Christine. What is empathy? Empathy is more than just understanding someone else's feelings. It's noticing when someone is struggling and choosing to act. It's about connecting with others and offering support, no matter how small the gesture. During Storm Christine, I realized that compassion was what kept our communities moving and gave people hope when everything else felt uncertain. My house suffered only minor damage, but we had no running water for several days and we were without electricity for a week. Life felt uncomfortable and stressful, but the kindness we received made all the difference. Friends and family invited us to their homes to eat, wash up, and rest. Even our school opened its doors to anyone without water at home. Those simple acts showed me what humanity truly looks like. What inspired me the most was seeing neighbors helping each other constantly. Some repaired roofs to prevent leaks, cleared streets, fixed broken fences, or carried water to families in need. That's the real power of compassion. Empathy grows when people work together. Alone, it's easy to feel helpless, but as a community, we become unstoppable. Families shared meals, volunteers formed teams to clear streets, and schools became hubs for support. One act of kindness sparked another, and soon hope was spreading everywhere. This showed me that compassion isn't just a feeling, it's an action. It's teamwork. It's helping others while also allowing yourselves to be helped. It's resilience, and it spreads. That's how communities survive disasters, both in weather and in life. Storm Christine was local, but the lessons apply everywhere. Natural disasters, wars, refugee crises, and health emergencies. These are moments when empathy can save lives. Communities thrive because people step up, volunteer, donate, and care for others, even when their own lives are difficult. Compassion isn't just personal, it's powerful. It connects people across neighborhoods, countries, and even continents. I learned that empathy requires courage. It asks us to look beyond our own struggles and reach out, even when it's hard. And the reward is profound. Disasters may destroy buildings, but acts of kindness rebuild lives. Routines may be disrupted, but hope is restored. Even small gestures like offering food, a water, a shower, or helping a stranger out can change someone's day. Helping others also changed me. I felt stronger, more connected, and more human. Helping others isn't a weakness, it's a strength. It's a strength that brings people together, even when everything else feels like it's falling apart. We can't control storms or the challenges they bring, or when they happen, but we can choose how to respond. We can choose compassion. We can volunteer, lend a hand, or simply check on someone in need. Every small act matters. So the next time someone struggles, remember this: empathy is action. It's connection. It's hope. And together, it has the power to change the world. Storm Kristen on January 28, 2026, reminded me of this truth. I hope it inspires all of you to act with kindness every single day. Thank you.
Vitor Hugo Ferreira is a professor, entrepreneur, and innovation expert, currently serving as general manager at TEDxLeiria. With a career dedicated to creativity, strategy, and entrepreneurship, he has helped students, founders, and businesses turn ideas into impact. In his talk, BSR, Build Something Real, he shares why the future belongs to those who create, build, and turn curiosity into something that matters. Please welcome Vitor Ferreira.
Okay. Thank you for the presentation. First of all, congratulations to all of you. You've been really great so far. It's a pleasure watching you present at this age. So amazing, better than my team. Speaking of my team, I would like to a round of applause for them, of course, because they're. Maybe this is part of the talk or not, but we are an ecosystem of builders. All that you see around here was built by us, like this stage, these speakers, these TVs, and the setting up, all the setting. You know, the guy that is taking care of the sound is the financial director of TEDxLeiria. And the other guy to the right is the marketing director of TEDxLeiria. So we build stuff. There are no small tasks, there are no big tasks. We do everything together. We are an ecosystem of builders. Also, a big round of applause to your professors and your school, because they had the courage and the will to do this make this happen. So congratulations, everyone. And this is just the beginning. Well, build something real. Who here uses Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude? Don't be shy, you use it most often than you confess to your professors. Usually there's this idea of AI slop we talk about, but there's, for the first time in centuries, we have the tools to make the things we imagine happen. This is amazing. I don't know if you guys use those platforms like Mentimeter in your school and your classes, where you basically your professors put the questions, you have to answer, and then you see the results. Big example, because last week I was using Mentimeter for a training here at TEDxLeiria, and then I thought, okay, I don't need to pay Mentimeter, I'm going to build my own Mentimeter with founders and other stuff, and nicer. You can do that in 3 hours, tops. You build your own Mentimeter. You can build your own website, You can build your own social network. You can build whatever you imagine. So the only constraint here is a little bit about your curiosity, imagination, and creativity. And this is the first time in human history you can imagine something and build it in 2 hours and then ship it to the whole world. This is amazing. You're living through amazing times. I know professors like me, I also teach at the in higher education. We are a little bit worried because students, they do everything in Gemini or ChatGPT, they don't think anymore. It's the other way around. You're a blessed generation because you have the tools nobody had before. You have the tools to transform the world. You have the tools to make something real, build something real. And the most important thing is it's not about the titles or the pitches or the founders. It's about the prototype, doing the next version, trial and error, build a robot, build a website, build a machine. You can, freaking do it. You can do it. And this is, the tools are no longer a bottleneck. You are. The mental constraints you have. Anything you imagine, you can do it. AI helps you write code. You have the world's knowledge in your pocket. You can ship to the whole world, like I said before. You can have tools to do a prototype really fast, but the only constraint is you. You have to have curiosity, critical thinking, imagination. And having that, you can do it. Asking the right questions. Where is the problem? What is in the root of the problem? Sometimes we look at the foam on the sea and we think where does the foam comes from? It comes from the movement of the waves, and what generates the movement of the waves? Well, the wind and gravity. So what is the root of the problem? You have to search for that. Frustration. I built Mintimter because I was frustrated because I had to pay, basically that. But you can build something because you're unhappy with it, because you have a problem. I built you love this mention, of course. I built an app for my ecosystem where we manage where we manage all the startups we have in the ecosystem, all the founders, all the consultants, because I was frustrated with the processes we have. So we have frustration, we have judgment, and we have also the responsibility. So the gap between AI and you is not knowledge, again, is curiosity, is the ability of making something happen. Until somebody tries it, pays for it, uses it, breaks it, makes it again, it's not real. And you guys are able to make things real for the first time in 100 years. Ask better questions. Is it broken? Is there a pain? Is there a problem? Have people tried to do it already in different ways? Can I do it better? Try, test, ask, repeat. The current world, not only internet, rewards curiosity and the ability to turn it into capabilities. So producing evidence is amazing, and you're able to do it. This is not only because maybe there's a barrier here in your mind about, okay, you're talking about ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. It's not only coding and vibe coding. You can do it. You have Fab Labs. You can transform this into something physical. Build a robot. Build a machine that serves drinks at your cafeteria. You have the tools to do it. And you have the knowledge to do it. If you don't know how to do something, you can search and use these tools, like AI, to ask for help. Okay, I didn't know how to integrate something into our server. I went to ChatGPT, I created basically a manual, and after that, I could do it. And that's amazing. Ideas are cheaper, design is cheaper, prototypes are cheaper, so what is valuable in this world? judgment, taste, domain knowledge, the ability to debug reality. And I still have 4 minutes, amazing. No? Didn't start from the beginning. Okay. Look at your school. Look at your environment. Look at the things you're presenting today. Look at the pains you have, your family have. Look at the problems that arose from the storm. Look at the problems you have in the pitch. Why can't you, your previous presenter here, why can't you develop a app to basically ingest data and make training better or your kicking better? You can do it. Just point your phone, collect video, and then you can train based on the video and the data you collected. And you don't need like this complicated corporation to help you do this because you're able to do it. It's amazing. Where is the problem? Always fall in love with the problems, not the solutions. And there's no permission needed to build something nowadays. You can basically try, and your age is usually an advantage, not a disadvantage, because you're free to imagine and to be more creative. You don't have the restraints we have at our age. We think the world works in a certain way. You think it should work in a completely different way. So the minimum real thing is one user, one working prototype, a feedback loop, and the bridge between these stages is imagination. So your operating system is craft, consistency, community, and courage. Talent starts the engine. The system keeps it running. And pick one tool, basically one of the ones that I mentioned, read the documentation, work from there. And then what does it matter beyond you? Because we're, for the first time in history, again, this is not about how a specific company is going to shape the world. Is the first time that we as individuals can really shape the world around us with these tools. This is a very positive view of the things AI allow us to do. The question is not, am I ready? The question is, what can I build this weekend that teaches me something real? Do not wait to become a founder. Start becoming a builder. Thank you.
Stephanie Cheng is 14 years old and joined us with a deeply personal story about pressure, expectation, and self-doubt. In her talk, "I've tried so hard, why do I still feel like I'm falling behind?" she opens up about the struggle to keep up and fit in. Now please welcome Stephanie to this courageous stage.
I really tried. That sentence has been living in my head for a long time. I tried in class, I tried after school, I tried when no one was watching, but somehow it still feels like it wasn't enough. Have you ever felt that too? You woke up early, you go to school, you listen, you study, and then someone says, "Why are your grades not better? Why are you still not fluent? You have been here 3 years already." 3 years. That sentence is never easy to hear. 3 years ago, I returned to Portugal, a country that feels both like home, but also like a foreign planet. I can hear the language, but I can't understand it, and a word I had to learn how to live in all over again. At first, I didn't even understand what people were saying. When classmates laughed, I didn't know why. When teachers spoke fast, my brain just froze. But every day, I tried. I tried to memorize words. I tried to speak, even when my accent sounded strange. I tried to answer questions, even when I was scared of making mistakes. But when I went home, what I heard was, "You still can speak well,
Look at other students. Why are you behind? And slowly, something changed. I stopped asking, how can I improve? I started asking, maybe I'm just not good enough. And that is a dangerous part, because when effort is invisible and only results are visible, we start to think effort doesn't matter, but think about this. When you plant a seed, does it grow the next day? No. For a long time, nothing happens. You just see dirt, but under the soil, roots are growing quietly, and just because you can't see the roots doesn't mean they aren't there. Sometimes we are like that seed. From the outside, it looks like we are behind, but inside, we are learning a new language, we are adapting to a new culture, we are becoming strong. And that takes time. And here is something I realized. We compare our behind the success to other people's highlights. We see someone speak perfectly, but we don't see how many times they practiced. We see someone get high grade, but we don't see how they struggle. We see confidence, but we don't see fear. And social media make it worse. Everyone posts success, no one posts confusion. If life had subtitle, maybe we would understand each other better, but it doesn't. So we judge ourselves too quickly. I used to think being behind means I was failing. Now I think it means I am still growing. Growing is uncomfortable. Growing is awkward. Growing sometimes sounds like bad grammar, but growing is still growing. So, if you think you are falling behind, maybe you are not. Maybe you are just building roots, and the roots take time. One day, when you finally bloom, people will say, wow, you improved so much. But they wouldn't see the night you devoted to yourself. They wouldn't see the tears. They wouldn't see the effort. But you will know, and that is enough. Because trying even when no one claps, it is still brave, and being brave every day is not falling behind. It is moving forward in your own time. Thank you.
Ellen Dreyer, 15, brings a thoughtful reflection on how beauty standards have evolved over centuries and the impact on our lives. Distorted Perception is a talk about how social media shapes the way we see ourselves, often fueling comparison, envy, and fear. Through her perspective, Ellen invites us to rethink how we view others and ourselves. Please welcome Ellen.
So, have you ever been scrolling on TikTok and you come across a beautiful girl lip syncing to an audio and you think, why can't I do that? Why can't I look into my camera and just get millions of views and millions of likes just like that? Why can't I be her? Well, the truth is, you can't be her because you're not her and you never will be. But not because you're not pretty enough, because you come from a different background with different genes, you're not her. Well, if you've never felt like this, I have. I'm Ellen, and today I'm going to be talking about how women have changed themselves for centuries on how social pressure and social standards. Okay, so let's start at the Renaissance. Back then, bigger foreheads were all the rage, so women would pluck their eyebrows and their hairlines in order to make them look bigger. Now, in the 1700s, bodies were all about proportion. You can never be too tall nor too short. You can never be too slim nor too thick. You have to be just right. Now, during the Victorian era, men wanted women to appear as a damsel in distress. Therefore, women would wear really tight corsets to accentuate their chests and ruffles on their back of their skirts to make their behinds look bigger. And they would tie their corsets so tightly that faint in public was such a common occurrence, no one would bat an eye. Now, in the 1920s, women started ditching corsets. They wore loose, shapeless dresses that hid any curves, and even radical women would wear pants, which led them to getting arrested for cross-dressing. Now, in the 1950s, after the Great Depression and World War II, everything was so expensive, women had to make their clothes out of men's clothes. When everything rationalized, women were expected to look perfect 24/7. They had to have big, perfect hair with red, vibrant lipstick and a perfect hourglass-shaped body. Now, in the 1980s to the 1990s, this was known as the supermodel era. You often see women gone in workout clothes going to a workout class, and eating disorders became very popular during this time by the image of wanting to be thin and fit. Now, 2000s were known as heroin chic. So eating disorders were so common during this time, almost encouraged. If you had bigger arms, it meant you ate too much. Bigger behind, it meant you ate too much. Basically, anything of a bigger size meant you ate too much. And where does this come from? It came from the models who were actually suffering from addiction, but because they were beautiful and thin, it got turned into a trend. Beauty standards are so impossible to keep up with. We're meant to have a bigger chest, no waist, bigger behind, and a thigh gap. We've normalized this mentality so much over the years, we don't even know what a normal body looks like. And adults can play a big part in this, especially the ones with the old mentalities and toxic mentalities, and pass it on to their kids. Around 14 to 30 million people have been diagnosed with eating disorders. Now imagine the people who haven't even been diagnosed. What about them? Where does this come from? Why was I comparing myself to someone twice my age at 11 years old? When you start getting puberty, that's your development into a woman. So naturally you start thinking, oh, my body is growing and changing. Why don't I look like this one person from this movie yet? All this self-hatred comes from social media telling us what is and isn't normal, what is and isn't beautiful, perfect. This weight has been on our shoulders since day one. Whether I was watching a makeup tutorial and never being able to leave the house without makeup again, or watching a movie and comparing myself, asking, why can't I look like her? Social media has influenced every opinion we've ever had about ourselves. We can never be just pretty. There was always a but to every compliment. And I think it's time we lay off the harshness and be ourselves. Sophia Loren once said, I'd rather eat pasta and drink Mary than be a size 0. And I mean, wouldn't you rather be with your friends, eating your favorite food, than be draining yourselves with the opportunities you could have had? What I'm trying to say is everyone's unique. And that's what life is about. So why is it that we all want to be the same? Oh, I wish I had her beautiful blonde hair. Oh, I wish I had her beautiful brown eyes. Oh, I wish. What do we travel for? We travel to see the uniqueness and the beauty of other countries. Why can we do that with ourselves? Coco Chanel once said, beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself. And that's what life's about, being different and learning how to embrace it. We travel to see the uniqueness and the beauty of other countries. That's what we're meant to do with ourselves. You are a combination of thousands of generations who once fell in love. Isn't that beautiful? Aren't you? Thank you.
Okay, we will now go on a lunch break and we'll be back by 2. Thank you.